Biblical Millionaire: How to Build Wealth Without Losing Your Soul. Written and published by Global Christian Family. Chapter 1: The Wealth Question: Can a Christian be rich? For centuries, many believers have struggled with one fundamental question: can a Christian truly be rich without compromising their faith? Some religious traditions present wealth as a spiritual danger, while others present prosperity as a sign of divine favor. The truth, however, lies deeper than both extremes. The foundation of the wealth question is not really about money. It is about heart alignment, purpose, stewardship, and identity. In biblical teaching, wealth itself is not portrayed as evil. Rather, the love of money, the obsession with it, the fear of losing it, or the worship of it becomes spiritually destructive. Wealth is neutral. The human heart determines its impact. Wealth in the divine design. From the beginning of Scripture, abundance was part of the original divine design for humanity. The idea of scarcity was never presented as God's ideal state for creation. Instead, humans were given responsibility over resources, creativity, and productivity. The concept of prosperity in biblical terms goes beyond cash or assets. It includes peace of mind, strong family and community relationships, health and emotional stability, financial sufficiency with purpose. True prosperity is not just about becoming wealthy. It is about becoming trustworthy with wealth. The danger of poverty mentality. Many believers struggle not because of lack of opportunity, but because of limiting beliefs about money. Poverty mentality often manifests as fear of success, suspicion toward business and investment, misunderstanding of financial stewardship, resistance to strategic wealth planning. Faith does not reject wisdom. Faith actually amplifies wisdom when applied correctly. Spiritual devotion and practical intelligence should work together, not against each other. The biblical balance. The biblical view of wealth is balanced between two extremes. 1. Materialism, worshiping wealth and losing spiritual focus. 2. Asceticism, rejecting wealth and rejecting responsibility for influence. The mature believer understands that wealth can be a tool for service, kingdom influence, and generational blessing. Throughout Scripture, many faithful individuals were financially prosperous while maintaining strong spiritual devotion. Their wealth was often connected to wisdom, discipline, strategic thinking, strong work ethic, divine favor combined with human effort. Why God blesses financially. Biblical prosperity is often tied to assignment, stewardship, and impact. When wealth increases, it expands the capacity to support families and communities, create jobs and opportunities, fund social and spiritual transformation, build systems that outlast a single lifetime. Wealth is not only about personal comfort, it is about influence with responsibility. The heart of the biblical millionaire. The biblical millionaire is not defined by account balance alone. Instead, this person is defined by character. Key traits include humility in success, discipline in spending, wisdom in investment, generosity without manipulation, vision beyond personal comfort. Success without spiritual grounding can lead to emptiness, but wealth combined with purpose creates lasting fulfillment. The kingdom principle of wealth. The kingdom principle of wealth can be summarized as receive wealth with wisdom, manage wealth with integrity, and distribute wealth with purpose. Financial success should never replace spiritual devotion. Instead, it should enhance the believer's ability to live out divine purpose on earth. The question you must answer. The real question is not whether Christians can be rich. The real question is, can wealth be trusted in your hands without corrupting your values, faith, or purpose? The biblical millionaire is someone who has mastered both money and the soul. Closing reflection. Ask yourself, do I see money as a tool or a master? Am I preparing myself spiritually and intellectually for financial success? How can my future wealth serve others and glorify God? The journey to becoming a biblical millionaire begins with mindset, stewardship, and spiritual maturity. Chapter 2. God's Original Economic System. Before modern banking, stock markets, or digital currencies, there was already a divine economic system in operation. This system was not built on exploitation, debt slavery, or scarcity mentality. Instead, it was built on stewardship, productivity, purpose, and divine provision. In the original design of creation, wealth was not primarily about accumulation. It was about management of resources for continuous productivity. The foundation of God's economic system can be summarized in one word: stewardship. Dominion, not domination. Humanity was given authority over creation, not for selfish exploitation, but for responsible development. The divine economic model encourages cultivation of potential, expansion of productivity, transformation of raw resources into value. Wealth in biblical terms is often the result of adding value to what already exists rather than merely taking from others. The 5 pillars of God's economic system. 1. Ownership belongs to God. The first principle is that everything ultimately belongs to God. Humans are temporary managers, not absolute owners. This mindset removes greed and promotes accountability. When wealth is seen as divine trust, financial decisions become spiritual decisions. 2. Work is sacred productivity. Work was not introduced as punishment. Work was designed as a pathway to fulfillment, creativity, and dominion expression. Productive labor creates skills, innovation, economic opportunities, personal growth. Lazy dependence is not aligned with the divine economic order. 3. Seed principle economics. The divine economy operates on a seed-based system. Every resource has the potential to multiply when invested wisely. This applies to business capital, knowledge acquisition, relationships, spiritual generosity. Nothing is meant to remain stagnant in God's system. 4. Value creation over wealth hoarding. God's system rewards value creators more than resource hoarders. People who solve problems, serve communities, and innovate tend to experience financial expansion. Wealth follows usefulness and impact. 5. Generational thinking. God's economic model is not short-term oriented, it is generational. Wealth should provide stability for families, create future opportunities, establish legacy systems. Financial success should extend beyond one lifetime. The danger of fallen economic patterns. Human economic systems sometimes drift away from divine design. This can produce exploitative wealth concentration, debt bondage systems, consumer addiction culture, short-term profit obsession. The biblical believer is called to participate in the economy, but maintain spiritual and ethical integrity. The role of wisdom in wealth. Wisdom is the operating software of God's economic system. Wisdom enables better investment decisions, risk management, opportunity recognition, strategic patience. Financial success is not only about effort, it is about intelligent positioning. Provision versus preparation. Many believers wait for divine provision while neglecting personal preparation. God's system often works through skill development, character formation, strategic relationships, opportunity readiness. Preparation often precedes provision. Kingdom entrepreneurship. Business is one of the strongest expressions of kingdom economics. Entrepreneurship allows believers to create jobs, influence industries, build ethical economic systems. Profit is not sinful when it is connected to purpose and service. The spiritual side of economics. Faith and finance are not enemies. Spiritual alignment often enhances economic intelligence. Prayer, meditation on wisdom principles, and ethical discipline can shape financial destiny when combined with practical action. The law of increase. Increase in God's economy usually follows this pattern. 1. Faithful stewardship of small resources. 2. Consistent productivity. 3. Ethical expansion. 4. Strategic generosity. 5. Larger responsibility. God often increases capacity before increasing resources. The biblical millionaire mindset. The believer who masters God's economic system thinks differently, sees opportunities where others see scarcity, invests instead of merely consumes, builds systems rather than chasing quick money, thinks long-term and generationally. Closing reflection. Ask yourself, am I managing resources like they belong to God? Am I developing skills that increase my economic value? Am I thinking generationally or only for today? God's original economic system is not about making money quickly. It is about becoming the kind of person who can responsibly manage abundance. Chapter 3. The Prosperity Code in Scripture. The Bible is not only a spiritual book, it is also a book of economic wisdom, leadership strategy, and prosperity intelligence. The prosperity code in Scripture is not about magical wealth formulas. Instead, it is about consistent patterns of behavior, faith, and wisdom that attract sustainable increase. Prosperity in Scripture is often connected to alignment with divine principles, not random luck or emotional desire. The first prosperity pattern, obedience before increase. Throughout Scripture, prosperity often follows obedience. Divine instructions frequently precede financial breakthrough. This pattern teaches that success is not only about hard work, it is about working in the right direction. When individuals align their actions with wisdom and purpose, opportunities tend to open. The second prosperity pattern, vision precedes provision. God often gives vision before resources. Vision serves as a blueprint for future success, a motivational force during difficult seasons, a guide for strategic planning. Without vision, resources can be wasted. With vision, resources are multiplied. Prosperous individuals are usually vision-driven rather than emotion-driven. The third prosperity pattern, skill development. Biblical prosperity is closely linked to competence. Skills create economic leverage. Talent without discipline rarely produces wealth. The Scriptures consistently show that individuals who develop specialized abilities often rose to financial and social influence. Economic success is frequently a product of continuous learning, practice and mastery, professional excellence. The fourth prosperity pattern, favor and strategic relationships. Favor in Scripture often appears through relationships. Opportunities sometimes arrive through mentorship, strategic partnerships, networking with people of influence. Isolation rarely produces large-scale prosperity. Community and connection play a major role in economic expansion. The fifth prosperity pattern, faithful stewardship of small things. The Prosperity Code emphasizes starting small and proving reliability. Responsibility over small resources builds capacity for larger resources. This principle applies to money management, business leadership, personal discipline. Trust is often tested before wealth is released. The sixth prosperity pattern, seed-based increase. The Prosperity Code operates on seed principles. Every seed has 3 stages: 1. Planting. 2. Growth. 3. Harvest. Seeds can represent financial investments, knowledge acquisition, acts of generosity, service to others. Nothing in God's system is designed to remain static. The 7th prosperity pattern, integrity as wealth protection. Prosperity without integrity is unstable. Scripture repeatedly shows that ethical behavior protects wealth. Dishonesty may produce quick gain, but often leads to long-term loss. Integrity creates reputation capital, trust-based opportunities, sustainable business success. Character is financial security in disguise. The 8th prosperity pattern, strategic patience. Divine prosperity is often gradual rather than instant. Many successful biblical figures experienced preparation seasons, testing seasons, character development seasons. Patience allows wealth to mature like a planted seed. The Joseph model of prosperity. The prosperity code is clearly illustrated in the story of Joseph's rise from adversity to economic authority. His success was built on vision interpretation, administrative intelligence, crisis management, strategic storage systems for economic survival. True prosperity includes preparing for future uncertainty. The role of generosity in prosperity. Generosity is not financial loss in the biblical system. It is often described as economic circulation. Giving does not reduce wealth potential when done with wisdom and purpose. Instead, it strengthens social capital, spiritual alignment, opportunity flow. The prosperity mindset. The prosperity code requires a specific way of thinking. See problems as opportunities. Think in systems, not just transactions. Build assets, not just income. Focus on long-term impact. Wealth often follows mindset transformation. Warnings about false prosperity teaching. True biblical prosperity is not greed-based, manipulation-driven, materialism-centered. Authentic prosperity always balances wealth, purpose, spiritual maturity, social responsibility. The ultimate prosperity goal. The highest level of prosperity is not financial independence alone. It is purposeful wealth that serves humanity, honors God, supports families and communities, creates lasting legacy systems. Closing reflection. Ask yourself, am I growing in wisdom and skill? Am I building long-term wealth systems or chasing quick money? Is my wealth journey aligned with purpose and integrity? The prosperity code is not hidden from believers. It is hidden for those who are willing to develop character, wisdom, and discipline. Chapter 4. Mammon versus the Kingdom Mindset. One of the greatest spiritual and economic battles in life is not between good and evil in obvious forms. Instead, it is the quiet struggle between purpose-driven living and money-driven living. In Scripture, money is often represented symbolically as a power that can either serve humanity or enslave the heart. The concept of mammon represents more than currency. It represents the system of living that places wealth above purpose, character, and spiritual values. The kingdom mindset, on the other hand, teaches that money should serve vision, not control it. What is mammon? Mammon represents excessive love of money, anxiety about financial survival, identity tied to financial success, greed-driven decision-making. The danger of mammon is not wealth itself. The danger is emotional and spiritual dependency on money for security and meaning. When money becomes the source of identity, fear and competition often dominate decision-making. The kingdom mindset. The kingdom mindset operates differently. It teaches that wealth is a tool for influence and service, not a master to be worshipped. The kingdom mindset focuses on purpose before profit, character before cash, impact before income, service before status. In this mindset, money becomes a servant rather than a ruler. The psychological difference. Mammon mindset, kingdom mindset. Driven by fear of lack, driven by vision and purpose. Focuses on accumulation, focuses on stewardship. Competes for resources, creates new opportunities. Hoards wealth, circulates wealth wisely. The kingdom mindset encourages abundance thinking without promoting reckless spending or financial irresponsibility. Financial fear versus faith-based strategy. Financial fear often causes poor investment decisions, panic selling or panic saving, short-term survival thinking. Faith-based financial strategy encourages long-term planning, skill development, diversified income systems, strategic patience. Faith does not ignore economic realities. Faith approaches them with wisdom. The danger of wealth without purpose. When wealth is pursued without purpose, it can produce emotional emptiness, relationship conflicts, loss of spiritual grounding, lifestyle addiction. True prosperity is not measured by money alone, but by peace, purpose, and contribution. Signs of a kingdom wealth mindset. A believer with a kingdom wealth mindset usually demonstrates 1. Generosity without pressure. Giving is not done to manipulate divine favor, but to express gratitude and influence positive outcomes. 2. Wisdom-based spending. Money is allocated strategically rather than emotionally. 3. Continuous self-improvement. Skills and knowledge are treated as financial assets. 4. Long-term vision thinking. Success is measured across generations, not just immediate results. The trap of consumer culture. Modern economic culture often promotes consumption as identity validation. The kingdom mindset challenges this by teaching value creation over status consumption, investment over impulse buying, asset building over liability accumulation. Wealth grows when income-producing assets are prioritized. The spiritual law of financial alignment. Financial success is often linked to alignment between spiritual values, personal skills, market opportunities, service to others. When these 4 areas align, economic momentum often increases. Jesus' teaching on wealth and heart loyalty. Scriptural teachings emphasize that the heart determines financial destiny. Money tends to follow what people value most. The kingdom approach is not anti-wealth. It is anti-enslavement to wealth. The goal is freedom, the ability to have wealth without being controlled by it. The mature wealth believer. The mature kingdom wealth believer understands money psychology, practices disciplined financial management, pursues economic growth with ethical boundaries, uses wealth as leverage for positive influence. Such individuals are rare but powerful in society. The ultimate victory over mammon. Victory over mammon is not achieved by rejecting money. It is achieved by putting purpose above financial fear and financial obsession. When purpose is clear, money becomes a resource that supports destiny rather than defining it. Closing reflection. Ask yourself, do I control my money, or does money control my emotions? Am I building wealth for purpose or for validation? How can I use financial success to serve others and fulfill my calling? The kingdom mindset creates wealth without losing the soul. Chapter 5. The Millionaire Mind of Christ. The Millionaire Mind of Christ is not about accumulating wealth for personal glory. It is about developing the psychological, spiritual, and strategic thinking patterns that enable sustainable influence, leadership, and prosperity. In Scripture, success is often tied to wisdom, service, discipline, and clarity of purpose. The mindset of Christ reflects mastery over emotions, resources, relationships, and destiny. True wealth begins in the mind before it appears in the material world. The first trait, clarity of purpose. The mind of Christ was purpose-driven. Purpose creates direction in decision-making, emotional stability during challenges, strategic focus during opportunities. Without purpose, wealth can be wasted on distractions. Purpose-focused thinking helps believers avoid chasing every opportunity and instead focus on divinely aligned opportunities. The second trait, emotional mastery. Financial success is often influenced by emotional intelligence. The millionaire mindset requires control over fear, greed, impulsive spending, panic decision-making. Emotional discipline supports long-term financial growth. The Christ-like mind demonstrates calmness under pressure and wisdom in conflict situations. The third trait, strategic thinking. The mind of Christ was not reactionary but strategic. Strategic thinking includes planning before acting, evaluating risk and reward, building long-term systems rather than seeking quick success. Wealth is often built through systems, not isolated events. The fourth trait, servant leadership wealth. The Christ mindset teaches that greatness is connected to service. In economic terms, service creates value. Value attracts wealth. Leaders who solve problems for others often attract financial opportunities naturally. Service-based thinking changes how money is earned and managed. The fifth trait, discipline and self-control. Financial freedom requires personal discipline. The millionaire mind practices controlled spending, consistent saving and investing, avoiding lifestyle inflation. Discipline transforms income into lasting wealth. The sixth trait, wisdom over speed. The Christ mindset prioritizes wisdom over haste. Many financial mistakes come from rushing investments, emotional business decisions, following trends without research. Wisdom ensures stability during economic uncertainty. The seventh trait, faith and action balance. Faith without action produces stagnation. Action without faith produces anxiety. The Christ-like wealth mindset balances spiritual confidence, practical execution. Faith inspires vision, while action produces results. The eighth trait, multiplication thinking. Christ often demonstrated multiplication principles. The economic lesson is that wealth grows through investment, reinvestment, expansion of opportunity networks. The goal is not only earning money, but multiplying value. The ninth trait, compassionate wealth use. The Christ mindset includes compassion. Wealth is meant to support families, help communities, fund positive social change, provide opportunities for others. Prosperity without compassion can become empty success. The 10th trait, authority without arrogance. The Christ mindset demonstrates confidence without pride. True financial authority does not exploit others, does not depend on arrogance, builds trust and long-term relationships. Respect often creates economic influence. The wealth pattern of Christ's teaching. Christ's economic teaching often followed this pattern. 1. Receive spiritual wisdom. 2. Develop character strength. 3. Apply practical action. 4. Serve others. 5. Experience increase. This pattern remains relevant in modern business and finance. The millionaire mind versus the poverty mind. Millionaire mind of Christ, poverty-oriented mindset. Focus on solutions, focus on problems. Thinks in systems, thinks in survival. Builds assets, consumes income. Plans for generations, thinks only of today. Creates opportunities, waits for opportunities. Becoming spiritually and financially intelligent. The Millionaire Mind of Christ requires continuous growth in spiritual maturity, financial education, leadership ability, emotional intelligence, strategic networking. Success is a lifelong development process. The ultimate wealth principle. The greatest wealth is not money alone. It is peace of mind, purpose fulfillment, strong relationships, spiritual alignment, financial independence with responsibility. The Christ mindset teaches that wealth should expand freedom, not create bondage. Closing reflection. Ask yourself, am I thinking like a steward or an owner? Am I building wealth systems or just chasing income? Does my financial strategy reflect wisdom and purpose? The Millionaire Mind of Christ is about mastering money without losing spiritual identity. Chapter 6. Wealth Creation Principles from Proverbs. The book of Proverbs is one of the richest financial wisdom sources in Scripture. It does not teach wealth as a miracle event. Instead, it teaches wealth as a product of disciplined thinking, hard work, ethical behavior, and strategic planning. Proverbs presents wealth creation as a lifestyle, not a sudden occurrence. The wisdom literature emphasizes that economic success is often the result of daily decisions rather than occasional breakthroughs. Principle 1. The value of hard work. Proverbs strongly contrasts diligence with laziness. The wisdom teaching is simple. Consistent effort eventually produces results. Wealth rarely comes from passive waiting. Diligent people tend to develop valuable skills, build strong reputations, create economic opportunities. Proverbs teaches that productivity is a pathway to prosperity. Principle 2. Planning and preparation. Success favors preparation. The wisdom tradition encourages setting goals, thinking ahead, preparing for economic uncertainty. Planning helps reduce financial risk and improves decision quality. Successful wealth builders usually operate with long-term strategies rather than emotional financial reactions. Principle 3. Avoiding debt dependency. Proverbs warns about excessive debt. Debt can create financial pressure, loss of economic freedom, emotional stress. Borrowing should be used strategically, not as a lifestyle solution. Financial independence grows when income exceeds expenses consistently. Principle 4. Saving and resource management. Saving is presented as a form of wisdom. Wise financial behavior includes setting aside resources during profitable seasons, preparing for future challenges, avoiding unnecessary consumption. Saving creates economic security and investment opportunities. Principle 5. Wise association and networking. Proverbs emphasizes relationship influence. Financial success is often connected to learning from experienced mentors, associating with wise people, avoiding destructive financial influences. Relationships can either accelerate or hinder wealth growth. Principle 6. Honesty and ethical wealth. Honest wealth lasts longer. Dishonest financial gains may produce temporary success, but often lead to long-term loss. Integrity builds trust, business opportunities, reputation capital. Trust is a powerful economic asset. Principle 7. Controlling speech and financial destiny. Words influence economic outcomes. Proverbs teaches that careless speech can destroy opportunities. Wise communication attracts influence. Professional reputation is often built through consistent, responsible communication. Principle 8. Emotional discipline in financial decisions. Emotions can distort economic judgment. Wisdom teaches. Avoid impulsive investments. Avoid panic selling. Make decisions with clarity and research. Financial maturity requires emotional intelligence. Principle 9. Small beginnings lead to great wealth. Great wealth often starts small. Proverbs encourages patience during early stages of growth. Economic expansion usually follows. Skill mastery. Consistent effort. Gradual scaling. Small successes compound over time. Principle 10. Generosity and economic flow. Generosity is not portrayed as loss, but as economic circulation. Wise giving builds social capital, creates opportunities, strengthens influence networks. Giving with wisdom strengthens long-term prosperity potential. Principle 11. Visionary leadership wealth. Vision guides financial growth. Without vision, resources may be wasted. Opportunities may be missed. Vision-driven wealth building focuses on purpose and impact. Principle 12. Self-control and lifestyle management. Proverbs warns against lifestyle excess. Wealth can be destroyed by overspending, status competition, poor financial habits. Living below income level creates financial leverage. The Proverbs wealth formula. The wisdom wealth formula can be summarized as diligence plus wisdom plus integrity plus strategy plus patience plus discipline equals sustainable wealth. This formula works across generations and economic environments. The role of wisdom in modern economy. In today's world, Proverbs wisdom applies to business entrepreneurship, digital economy opportunities, investment strategies, career advancement. Wisdom remains more valuable than quick financial gains. The wise investor mindset. The wise person studies before investing, avoids speculation without knowledge, builds diversified income sources. Knowledge reduces financial risk. The ultimate Proverbs wealth teaching. The highest wealth in Proverbs is not just money. It is wisdom, character, long-term security, family stability, legacy building. True prosperity is sustainable and ethical. Closing reflection. Ask yourself, am I working diligently and consistently? Do I make financial decisions with wisdom or emotion? Am I building wealth systems for the future? The wisdom of Proverbs teaches that wealth is not accidental. It is built through disciplined living. Chapter 7. The Joseph Strategy from Prison to Prosperity. The Joseph Strategy is one of the most powerful models of success, resilience, and wealth transformation in Scripture. It demonstrates that prosperity is not always about starting with advantage. Sometimes, prosperity is about developing the capacity to succeed while under pressure. The life of Joseph illustrates that destiny is often built in stages, not sudden leaps. The Joseph Strategy teaches believers how to transform adversity into economic and leadership advantage. Stage 1. Vision receiving. Joseph's journey began with vision. Vision is often the first sign of future leadership and economic responsibility. Vision serves as a mental blueprint for destiny, motivation during hardship, guidance for strategic decisions. However, vision alone is not enough. Vision must be paired with character development. Sometimes, vision attracts resistance because it signals future authority. Stage 2. Character formation through adversity. Joseph experienced betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment. These experiences were not wasted time. They were preparation stages. Adversity can develop emotional resilience, leadership maturity, Strategic thinking under pressure. Many people desire success, but avoid the preparation required to sustain it. Stage 3. Excellence in every environment. Joseph succeeded because he maintained excellence regardless of his circumstances. Whether in his father's house, Potiphar's household, the prison environment, he demonstrated reliability and competence. Excellence creates reputation capital. Reputation often attracts opportunities. Stage 4. Skill development for economic influence. Joseph developed specialized skills: administrative management, resource planning, economic forecasting. These skills later positioned him for national leadership in economic crisis management. Economic value is often determined by how rare and useful a skill becomes. Stage 5. Emotional intelligence and integrity. Joseph resisted moral compromise, even when it seemed economically advantageous. Integrity protected his destiny. Short-term compromise often destroys long-term opportunity. Stage 6. Strategic timing. Timing was crucial in Joseph's promotion. He was elevated when Egypt needed economic strategy. His skills matched national economic needs. Opportunity and preparation must align. Stage 7. Crisis wealth strategy. Joseph's greatest wealth contribution was not personal luxury. It was national economic survival strategy. He implemented resource storage systems, agricultural production planning, crisis risk management. This is a powerful lesson for modern entrepreneurs and investors. Stage 8. From survivor to system builder. Joseph did not only survive hardship, he built systems that protected society during famine. True wealth builders create businesses, financial systems, employment opportunities. System builders often become long-term economic leaders. Stage 9. Strategic forgiveness and emotional freedom. Joseph's story also teaches emotional freedom. Holding bitterness can reduce decision clarity, damage leadership effectiveness. Forgiveness frees emotional energy for strategic thinking and productivity. Stage 10. Influence through service. Joseph gained authority through service, not political power struggles. Leadership in the kingdom economy often comes through solving problems, serving communities, providing solutions during crises. Influence follows usefulness. The Joseph wealth model. The Joseph strategy can be summarized as vision plus character plus skill plus excellence plus integrity plus timing plus strategy equals destiny fulfillment. This model works in business, career advancement, investment strategy, leadership development. The modern application. Today, the Joseph strategy applies to entrepreneurship, technology innovation, global economic systems, career positioning. The key is preparing for opportunities before they appear. The spiritual lesson of Joseph's story. God does not only give prosperity, God also develops capacity to manage prosperity. Without capacity, wealth can become destructive rather than productive. Closing reflection. Ask yourself, what skills am I developing for future opportunities? How am I preparing for success before it arrives? Am I building systems or just seeking personal success? The Joseph strategy teaches that greatness is built through preparation, not luck. Chapter 8. The Law of Seed, Time, and Harvest. The law of seed, time, and harvest is one of the most powerful economic and spiritual principles in Scripture. It teaches that increase is not accidental. Increase follows a predictable cycle of planting, growth, and harvesting. This law applies to money, knowledge, relationships, skills, opportunities, spiritual growth. Nothing in God's economic design is meant to remain stagnant. The first element, the seed. A seed represents potential. Seeds can be financial investments, business ideas, acts of generosity, time spent learning new skills, service to others. The quality of the seed matters. Good seeds produce better harvests. Many people desire harvests without planting seeds, but harvests are always connected to planting decisions. The second element, time. Time is the development phase. Growth is usually invisible during this stage. Many people abandon their goals because they cannot see immediate results. Time allows skills to mature, investments to compound, relationships to deepen, ideas to develop into systems. Patience is not inactivity. It is intelligent waiting combined with preparation. The third element, harvest. Harvest represents reward, opportunity, or increase. Harvest can appear as financial returns, career promotion, business expansion, influence growth. However, harvest also comes with responsibility. Greater harvests often require greater stewardship. The importance of consistency. The seed principle rewards consistency. Small but regular actions often outperform occasional large efforts. Consistent habits include regular saving and investing, continuous learning, persistent business improvement. Consistency creates momentum. The danger of eating your seed. One of the greatest financial mistakes is consuming what should be planted. People often destroy future prosperity by overspending income, avoiding investment, ignoring skill development. Wisdom teaches balance between consumption and investment. Multiplication economics. The seed principle is not about addition, it is about multiplication. Wealth grows through reinvestment, asset expansion, knowledge leverage. Multiplication wealth is stronger than income-only wealth. The role of faith in the seed principle. Faith is required because growth is not always visible immediately. Faith helps maintain discipline during slow seasons, hope during economic uncertainty, focus during preparation phases. Faith and practical action must work together. Strategic generosity. Giving can be viewed as planting seed into relational and spiritual soil. Wise giving is not emotional giving, it is intentional and strategic. Strategic generosity can build influence networks, open unexpected opportunities, strengthen social capital, agricultural wisdom in modern finance. Modern investment markets reflect the seed principle. Examples include stock market investing, business ownership, intellectual property creation, real estate investment. Investments require time to mature. The harvest season principle. Harvest seasons are usually seasonal, not permanent, dependent on previous planting decisions, proportional to seed quality and quantity. Preparation during harvest seasons is important because future scarcity seasons may come. The spiritual dimension of harvest. The seed principle teaches that life is interconnected. What people sow into their minds, into their relationships, into their finances, into their spiritual life, often determines future outcomes. The law of strategic patience. Strategic patience means working consistently, learning continuously, waiting wisely for opportunity cycles. Patience protects wealth creation from emotional decisions. The biblical millionaire application. The biblical millionaire practices continuous planting of knowledge and capital, long-term investment thinking, generational wealth planning. They understand that wealth is grown, not just earned. The ultimate seed principle truth. The greatest wealth builders focus on becoming valuable before expecting wealth returns. Increase follows value creation. Closing reflection. Ask yourself, what seeds am I planting today? Am I investing in my future or only consuming present resources? Am I patient enough to allow my seeds to grow? The law of seed, time, and harvest teaches that destiny is cultivated, not rushed. Chapter 9. Business as Ministry. Business is often misunderstood as purely a profit-making activity. In kingdom economics, business is also viewed as a form of ministry, service, and social transformation. Business as ministry means using economic activity to serve communities, create employment opportunities, solve real-world problems, demonstrate ethical leadership. Work is not separate from spiritual purpose. Work can be an expression of divine calling. The first principle, profit with purpose. Profit is not inherently sinful. Profit becomes dangerous only when it is disconnected from purpose and integrity. Purpose-driven business focuses on value creation, customer transformation, social impact. Profit provides sustainability for ministry and service expansion. The second principle, entrepreneurship as dominion expression. Entrepreneurship reflects the biblical idea of stewardship over creation. Entrepreneurs participate in kingdom economics by creating new opportunities, developing innovations, providing services that improve quality of life. Business ownership gives believers economic influence. The third principle, ethical leadership. Business as ministry requires high ethical standards. Ethical business practices build customer trust, long-term brand reputation, sustainable partnerships. Integrity is often more valuable than short-term profit. The fourth principle, job creation as kingdom service. One of the greatest social contributions of business is employment creation. Jobs provide financial stability for families, skill development opportunities, economic mobility. Creating employment is a form of social ministry. The fifth principle, customer service as spiritual service. Serving customers well reflects spiritual values of compassion and respect. Good service includes honesty in pricing, quality product delivery, respectful communication. Customers are not just revenue sources, they are relationship partners. The sixth principle, innovation and problem solving. Business ministry thrives on solving problems. Successful enterprises usually focus on identifying community needs, creating practical solutions, improving efficiency in society. Innovation reflects creative stewardship. The seventh principle, financial responsibility. Business ministry requires responsible financial management. This includes proper accounting systems, risk management, strategic reinvestment. Financial discipline ensures business longevity. The eighth principle, kingdom influence through wealth. Business creates platforms for positive influence. Economic influence can be used to support humanitarian initiatives, fund community development, promote ethical social values. Wealth becomes influence when used wisely. The ninth principle, leadership development. Business environments can also become leadership training grounds. Great businesses develop future leaders, skilled professionals, responsible managers. Leadership multiplication is part of kingdom expansion. The 10th principle, generosity as corporate culture. Business generosity can take forms such as community support programs, scholarships, social development projects. Generosity builds brand goodwill and spiritual alignment. The spiritual danger of business without purpose. Business without purpose can lead to exploitation, greed-driven competition, burnout and dissatisfaction. Purpose protects both business owners and society. The kingdom business model. The kingdom business model balances profit, people, purpose, ethics. This model produces sustainable success. The modern marketplace mission. In modern economies, believers can express ministry through technology businesses, service industries, creative industries, education and knowledge economy platforms. Business is a modern pulpit of influence. The biblical entrepreneurial spirit. Many biblical figures demonstrated business intelligence through resource management, strategic planning, agricultural and trade systems. Faith and commerce are not enemies, they can operate together. The ultimate business as ministry truth. The highest level of business success is not financial dominance. It is impact with integrity, building wealth while improving lives. True kingdom business owners measure success by economic results, social transformation, spiritual alignment, closing reflection. Ask yourself, how can my business or career serve others? Am I building wealth systems that honor God and help society? Does my work reflect purpose beyond income? Business as ministry transforms commerce into a tool for positive change. Chapter 10. Integrity, Ethics, and Wealth Protection. Building wealth is only half of financial success. Protecting wealth is equally important. Many people focus on earning money but neglect the ethical and strategic principles that preserve wealth across generations. Integrity and ethics function as financial security systems. Wealth without moral structure is often unstable. True prosperity is not only about how much money you make. It is about how long your wealth can survive and continue growing. The first principle, integrity as wealth insurance. Integrity protects wealth in several ways. Builds trust with business partners. Strengthens customer loyalty. Creates long-term opportunities. Trust is one of the most valuable economic assets in any society. People prefer doing business with individuals and companies they trust. The second principle, ethical decision-making. Ethical wealth building requires asking, is this profitable decision also morally sound? Does this business practice harm others? Will I be proud of this decision in the future? Short-term unethical profit often produces long-term loss. Ethics reduce legal, financial, and reputational risks. The third principle, reputation capital. Reputation is a powerful wealth multiplier. Strong reputation can attract investors, create partnerships, increase market influence. Reputation is built through consistency, honesty, and reliability. The fourth principle, transparency in business and finance. Transparency builds confidence in financial relationships. This includes clear contracts, honest communication, proper financial records. Transparency reduces conflict and builds long-term economic stability. The fifth principle, avoiding get-rich-quick traps. Many financial losses occur through fraud schemes, speculative bubbles, emotional investment decisions. Sustainable wealth is usually built slowly through wisdom and discipline. If something promises wealth without effort, caution is wise. The sixth principle, financial accountability. Accountability protects wealth from internal loss. This involves tracking expenses, monitoring investments, having trusted financial advisors. Successful wealth builders create systems of financial oversight. The seventh principle, moral leadership in wealth. Leadership integrity influences economic outcomes. Leaders who maintain ethics tend to attract better business opportunities, build stronger teams, sustain organizational growth. Moral authority often produces long-term influence. The eighth principle, emotional ethics in wealth decisions. Financial decisions should not be controlled by anger, fear, pride, competition pressure. Emotional discipline allows clearer economic judgment. The ninth principle, wealth protection systems. Wealth protection includes diversified investments, insurance planning, legal asset protection structures, risk management strategies. Protection is as important as acquisition. The 10th principle, generational wealth responsibility. True wealth builders think beyond themselves. They focus on family financial education, asset inheritance planning, knowledge transfer. Wealth without generational planning often disappears within a few generations. The spiritual dimension of wealth protection. Spiritual discipline supports financial discipline. Spiritual practices encourage humility during success, gratitude during prosperity, responsibility toward society. Humility protects against pride-driven financial mistakes. The Kingdom Wealth Security Formula. Integrity plus wisdom plus discipline plus accountability plus ethical strategy equals sustainable wealth. This formula protects wealth during economic uncertainty. The danger of wealth without character. History shows that wealth without character can lead to corruption, legal problems, social isolation, financial collapse. Character is the invisible foundation of wealth stability. The biblical millionaire principle. The biblical millionaire is not only wealthy. They are trustworthy, responsible, wise stewards of resources, ethical business leaders. They understand that wealth is a trust, not just possession. Final reflection. Ask yourself, do my financial practices reflect integrity? Am I building wealth that can survive future generations? Do I value reputation as much as profit? Integrity is not a limitation to wealth. Integrity is wealth protection in action.